Hey everybody, or let's make sure we're starting. Hey everybody, welcome to another live Q&A with the Dice Tower. My name is Tom Vasel, and so it is the last week of March, first week of April. April Fool's Day coming up, huh? I actually was trying to put something together, do an April Fool's joke, but maybe we won't do one this year, or maybe we will. But anyhow, that means tomorrow on the 31st, you're going to see all sorts of news, and from the next day, from all over the place. And I'm not going to allow them to post any April Fool's news on Dice Tower. The problem is, what if we accidentally copy someone else's news? So it's going to be kind of, That's just how April Fool's Day works, I suppose. Anyhow, wow, a bunch of people just threw out a whole pile of questions as soon as we started here. So we're going to jump right into the questions, and so let me get right into them. Let's see here. Daniel says he's excited to see City of Gears. He says, obviously you think it's good if it's a Dice Tower Essential, but did you ever do a review of it? No, I don't. I mean, you'll see me do a full-fledged preview of it at some point when it gets closer to production points. When it happens, you'll see a full-fledged preview from me. What was your absolute favorite movie growing up? Oh, that's interesting. Growing up was very different than now. You may not believe this. I didn't see Star Wars till I was an adult. I didn't see Indiana Jones till I was adult. We didn't have a TV as a kid, so I saw very few movies. So I don't know what my favorite movie was as a kid. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, maybe? I don't know. Let's see here. I'm planning to pick up Star Wars Armada tomorrow, so can I please get a small preview of your review? Thursday will be my review. Let's see here. What's the best way to learn about reprintings? Well, there really isn't a good way to learn about them. But, I mean, other than watching news and stuff. But what I do is cool stuff, I go to their main page and that new releases and restocks. And each day, check that. And if something's coming soon from them, you'll see it. And if you don't see it, if they don't have it coming soon, eventually you'll see it come as it was released. That's really the best way. Restocks is also on the page. So if, let's say, they reprinted El Grande, you would see it on that page. Okay. A little tired today, folks, so I'm going to try to be peppy here, but Board Game Breakfast was a bear to put together. There was a corrupted file in the program, and it took me a long time to figure out where that file was. So anyhow, do you know the game Apex? Yes, I have it. I'm going to review it once I get it played. Will there be a new top 10 out this Thursday? Yes, it's going to be top 10 games that make us laugh. So hopefully that will be enjoyable. Let's see here. Wow, a lot of questions here, folks. Oh, man. Okay, guys. Were people waiting just to, throw a pile of questions? All right, let's see what I can do here. Let me try not to get too far away. Okay, let's see here. Is there a reason why you never comment and talk about the news of HeroClix? Well, it's the same reason I don't comment or talk about the news of every single Magic the Gathering. There's just way too much of it. I don't know a whole lot about HeroClix anyway, so there's new sets coming out. And I guess I could, but you know, the crossover between HeroClix players and board gamers is very small, as opposed to the crossover of Attack Wing and board gamers, which is much higher. Or even Dice Masters. HeroClix and board gamers, just not that high of a crossover. Will you review Forgotten King even though you thought Arcadia Quest replaced Super Dungeon Explorer? I will if they send me a copy, so we'll have to wait and see. Have I ever beaten 2 traders in Shadows over Camelot using the expansion? And the camera's about to turn off. That's not a good thing. Hang on, folks. I forgot about that. I didn't plug the camera in. So, My apologies. Let me get this going here. So anyway, yes, I have played against 2 traders, and yes, I won, I think, once. I don't remember. I would remember if I was one of the traders, which I certainly was not. All right, that should be fine then. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, let's see here. What's my opinion of Scylla? I don't believe I've ever played Scylla. How did board game price at a convention compare to MSRP? They're going to cost the same. You're not going to get any discounts at a convention usually, with some caveats on that. Okay, if a convention has a board game store or a used game store or an auction or something like that, sure, you can get great deals there. Sometimes companies will also sell their older games or games they have a hard time getting rid of. And sometimes they'll have specials, but for the most part, you're going to pay full price for the game. Now, you might want to wonder why. Well, that's partially because the board game publisher has to cover the costs of going to that convention. It's very expensive for them to do it, and that's one of the ways, because they make more money on these games selling directly to you. And in fact, I encourage buying at a convention because you really do support directly the publisher that way. Is Star Wars Armada or Imperial Assault too complicated to play with my family? I don't know your family. Instead of custom box inserts, how do you feel about people using tackle boxes, Petri dishes to organize games to make it easier to set up and play? Is it worth the extra space on the shelf? Well, Petri dishes, if they can fit inside the boxes, I love using them. There's all sorts of small little containers that you can use. Same thing with Plano box, and you can see over here, I have some, but I'm unhappy with the fact that that takes up those spaces. In fact, those are at Small World, Crossmaster, and Street Fighter Hero Clicks. So that's what's over there. Crossmaster is teetering on me, the edge of me keeping it or not. Small World, I don't know if I'm going to do a Small World yet. And, well, the Hero Click Street Fighter, I like Street Fighter. Let's see here. Let's see, what game are you most looking forward to that you learned about at Gamma? Learned about a lot of different games there. I think that Wild West Flick'em game, I think it's called Flick'em Up, from Pretzel Games. That just looked really fun to play. I mean, I would say probably the Forgotten Stars, but I actually played that. But you know what? I liked it so much that I am still really looking forward to playing it again. So maybe that one. How did the shut the door thing get started? Well, I've said this before, but it's been a bit. There was a video at some point where I told my kids to shut the door, and I left it in the video due to bad editing. And someone said, "What are you talking about?" And so I thought, I'll just start saying it in more videos. And then I did it more and more, and it just became a thing. So, Do you find Seasons to be a mean game? It certainly can be a mean game. I certainly play it as cutthroat as I possibly can. I like the game, but since I know it's that way going in, it doesn't bother me. Are third-party tokens like Litco worth the often hefty price tag that could be spent purchasing another game? Yeah, this is something that we've talked about, especially in our group, because these things are expensive. And if you think Litco's expensive, look at MeepleSource. They're super expensive. And honestly, I wish either one of those two companies could bring their prices down. And I'm assuming that they just can't, because there's very few companies out there that are making these spare bits and spare parts for games and doing well. Yes? Who's at the door? Well, I guess no one was at the door.
Is it okay if we can watch something?
No, it's almost time for bed.
Oh.
Sorry. Anyhow, so these things are very expensive. The different pieces for games, for plastic pieces or for the wooden pieces. But you know what? In my opinion, it's if you really like the game that you're adding them to, then that is completely worth it to pay that extra money. People say, well, you could buy another game. Well, yeah, but what's wrong with having one really awesome game that you really like? That's what I would lean towards. Upper Deck has said that they're making a storage solution for Marvel Legendary. What is your wish list for this product? Well, they should be selling very nice dividers with names on and not those lame-o ones that they have right now with the stickers that go on them. Blah, pain in the neck. I use the dividers, but I'm just going to either write the name on them or something. But I don't know how they're going to make a good storage solution, because to fit everything they have now, they would need a really huge box. I think I'd rather them just put out some boxes that hold everything very nicely and just continue to put those out and let me keep 2 or 3 of them. Cameron says, Tom, I admittedly have a problem being a completionist with my games. From what I gather, you do not. What are some of the reasoning you use when deciding not to chase down all expansions or promos? I don't need them. This is the constant conflict that me and Jason have. I mean, good-natured, of course, but we always have this when we're talking about games, because Jason is a completionist, and it will drive him nuts. Now, I used to be very much trying to get every single thing to games, and there's some games I kind of cool that I think for HeroScape, I pretty much have everything. I trade it for it, but like Dice Masters, I'm missing some of the cards for my newest sets, and I might, if I came across them, I would certainly go out to get them. But I don't care. I don't get most of the promos at Board Game Geek, because I look at them and I go, I could use that in a game. I mean, if it's a really cool promo, maybe, but Ascension is a good example of that. Ascension has a ton of cool promos. When I went and looked at them at conventions, I'd be like, oh, they're almost like $1 a card. Well, I'll buy a couple, I guess. But I didn't need to have them all. And I'm telling you, when you get over that point, it's very freeing. I can now play Magic the Gathering very easily because I don't need to own everything in it. I don't need to own every board game. I don't need to own every expansion to a board game. I just want to have a very fun game to play. So I think it's partially just, for me, the reason is I don't need to have it. But you can still buy Dice Tower promos. Will we see more live plays in the future? Well, like I said in Board Game Breakfast today, we plan to do a live play of Imperial Assault this Friday, where we'll be showing you the tactical game, like the one-on-one style game from that. There will not be Dungeons & Dragons promos in Board Game Breakfast. There will be more DC promos. I haven't seen any Dungeons & Dragons promos other than the Minx and Boo one that we handed out. And then I got an email from someone today who said that they were getting tired of all this Dice Master stuff, and I completely understand that. The Dice Master stuff will not be, it's not like it's going to be all over the show all the time, and there's been a lot of it, but there will be other things that will show up during that time. What made me decide to move from South Florida to South Florida from Korea? Well, I moved to South Florida because there was a job opportunity there. It'd be very interesting if I decided to move now, because the job opportunity wouldn't really be a factor, although the people working for me, like Z, that would certainly come in effect. But anyway, I was looking for a place to go, and I wanted to be near a good hospital system for my daughter Clara, and the Miami Children's Hospital is amazing in that regard. What is my impression of the Imperial Assault expansion? Looks cool. Looks like they're going to follow the same thing, the same expansion pattern with Imperial Assault as they do with Descent, where they have a small one, and then the first one's smaller than the bigger one. With the difference being with the Imperial Assault, they're going to be releasing all this stuff as separate packs too, with different plastic figures and stuff, and it's going to be much pricier than Descent, I think, down the road. I have not yet played Mountains of Madness. Let's see here. Do I like StarCraft the board game or World of Warcraft the board game? Well, StarCraft I did a review on. And yes, I like it, but it's not aged well for me. And World of Warcraft, I really enjoyed. Well, there's 2 World of Warcrafts. The World of Warcraft Adventure board game, which I didn't like. The big giant World of Warcraft board game, I enjoyed it. The combat system is very fun, but the interaction between the players was almost nothing, and when the other players were taking their turn, huge amounts of downtime. Pretty cool ideas, but whatever. Here's a good question. Adlington says, has Jason considered going for the world record for the biggest board game collection? The current record is 1,800 games. Well, here we really have a problem with this world record thing with board games, and I'll tell you why. The biggest collection in the world of board games is, I don't know, 10, 20,000, all right? And I remember the first time I saw the Guinness Book of Records with they had a collection there that was 1,400 games, 1,500 games, and I was like, wow, I have that many. That was back when I had a big giant collection. I don't have that many now. And I thought, well, I'll submit mine. But wait a minute, I can't do that because I know someone who has a bigger collection than me. And so this is the standoff where we're at right now. Whoever has the biggest collection, they're not going to, let's say they don't do it. Well, then the person with the second biggest collection won't do it because they'll say, well, there's somebody else who has a bigger collection. And it's just this infinitum, blah, 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 blah. No one's going to say they have the biggest collection of games because they know someone with a bigger collection. So the one person who does decide that they're going to apply for it is now in the Book of Records with 1,800 games. And I know at least 50 people, at least, with bigger collections than that. Personally, probably I know 100 people with collections bigger than that. Not me. So Jason is thinking about doing it just to get the ball rolling. He said that maybe if he did it, and, because he has 3,000 games or whatever, and then maybe someone else will say, well, Jason's not the biggest, and then we'll maybe roll it up. Maybe whoever has the biggest collection will get it into the Guinness Book of World Records. Where did I get my shirt? I got it directly from Yellow. I asked them about it. That's when I saw them, and you may be able to get these in the future, but not right now. Let's see here. For a group coming off Power Grid, would you recommend Le Havre, Caverna, or something else? I don't know what I would recommend to you. I recommend that you try some games because Power Grid is really unlike anything else. It's a very unique, interesting game, and people who hate Euro games often like it, and people who love Euro games often like it, so it's kind of that bridge between the gap there. How tall are you? I'm 6'4". The first thing everyone says to me when they meet me in person is, I didn't think you were that tall. Does Cool Stuff Games share the same price as Cool Stuff Inc. website? Yeah, they're the same store. I mean, Cool Stuff Inc. is a local game store that also sells online. So yes, exact same prices. Do you think there'll be any more Dice Steeple shows? Oh, that's right. It's time to post one. I actually have one finished, edited, everything ready to go. I'll get that posted this week, actually. So yes. I do not know why every once in a while YouTube jumps really far down question-wise. All right, there we go. Okay. Is there any place I can purchase Spyfall? Yes, when it comes out from Cryptozoic, you will be able to purchase it everywhere. Anyhow, what's your take on role-playing games? I think they're great, they're fun, they're innovative, they're neat, and they're very time-consuming, which is why I don't play them. Let's see here. So where'd I get the poster with the dice in the black holes? Oh, that's the poster over there. I think from posters.com, and I did a search for dice, or I did a search on the internet for dice posters. I don't remember where I got it from. Let's see here. We make the Gamma Videos theme music available as a ringtone. No, actually that's royalty-free music that we use, and we're not allowed to distribute that just as the music. So we use it as backgrounds in our videos, but we can't just give it out as a theme song. Are you doing anything for Tabletop Day? Yes! I said this last time, I'll say it again. Come down to South Florida, to Hollywood. The cool stuff there is shutting the store off to everybody else. So it's just going to be board gamers in there that day. It's $15 to come in, but that covers your meals. They're going to have raffles. They'll have ding and dent stuff from the Cool Stuff store itself for sale there. Lots of fun. That will be, I think it's 12 hours of gaming. It's 10 to midnight or something like that. Come on out and play games with us. What's the next game that you're looking forward to adding into your collection? I actually don't look forward to adding any game to my collection because I'm really happy with my collection. And when I decide I'm adding a game to it, I have to get rid of a game. Now, there is a game that I'm reviewing this week that I will likely be adding to my collection, and there's probably a game it's getting rid of, but I don't know what yet. Let's see. Nothing Personal, the dice game, I won't be designing anymore in the Nothing Personal universe. So, at this point, Nothing Personal is a finished, complete game. The expansion's coming out who knows when. It's supposed to be coming out in October this year. And then after that, I'm finished with that universe, and I don't even know that I'll be designing again. So maybe someone else will make the dice game. When will we see the Dice Tower Awards for 2014 board games? We're voting on the nominations now. You'll see the nominations list mid-April, and then we'll announce the winners at the Dice Tower Convention at the end of June. How does the Dice Tower Essentials work? Do you come up with the idea for what game to reprint? Does Dice Tower work as a marketing idea? Well, basically, Dice Tower Essentials is very simple. They're games I love, and I want to see them get printed. So there's no game in the Dice Tower Essentials line that I don't love. Now, just because I love a game doesn't mean it gets printed. There are games in the line that, there are games that I love that didn't make the line because Arcane Wonders didn't think they were good enough, or they didn't think, or we both decided that we liked the game, but it wasn't viable to reprint, or there were production problems, or the designers didn't want to work with us, or whatever. I would say right now, we're going to shortly announce a fourth game in the line very soon, very, very soon. We have a fifth that's very possible, but we've looked seriously at least 20 games, and less seriously at even more than that. And many games just fell by the wayside for many different reasons. Let's see. Love the format of the Gamma Trade Show news. Are you going to be doing the same for Gen Con and Essen? No, we're not. Now, the thing with the Gamma Trade Show, where we went in and recorded videos, is that's a special cooperation setup thing that we have with Gamma itself. So we will be doing a very similar thing at Origins itself. Now, from Essen and from Gen Con, we will certainly be tweeting news like crazy. We'll be putting stuff up on the different Twitter and the picture site and Facebook and things like that. We'll be posting as much news as we possibly can from those sites. And we'll be doing videos and getting news and doing reviews. But the video interviews and stuff, that's something that we're only doing with Gamma Trade Show and with Origins. However, Board Game Geek does a lot of videos and stuff from both Gen Con and Essen. And I'm sure they have better job than we do because they have much better rig with multiple cameras and stuff. The only advantage I have on them there is I think I have better interviewers in Z and Eric. I think they both do an excellent job. In fact, I think next time I'm going to step off the camera completely because I'm not nearly as good as they are, except when it comes to things like Fantasy Flight and such, because I like to go in there and talk about my favorite games. But favorite style of barbecue? I don't know what that means. I mean, if you mean like meat, pulled pork. I mean, a flavor, well, mesquite. Do you think that Xenoshift is too easy? Well, I haven't played the final game. I only played it before it was produced. I didn't think it was too easy when we played it because we lost the first game pretty badly, and the second game we won by the skin of our teeth. Let's see here. I wonder why he doesn't do live game sessions anymore. As I said, we will be doing one this Friday. What about having a Dice Tower convention at Tallahassee? No! I don't live near Tallahassee. It wouldn't be fun for me. Orlando. And by the way, Orlando is a fantastic city to have a convention in. Let's see here. What's a game you regret getting rid of? There are none that I regret getting rid of. If I don't have a game, I'm pretty content not having that game. Let's see here. Oh, for us non-US people, what is the West Coast port shipping issue? Well, many of the products for the United States come from China or from somewhere in Asia. And there was a strike amongst the folks who unload those big giant containers on the West Coast, California and such. And because of that, ships just sat there and weren't unloaded. Other ships came and just anchored and sat there, and everything just got delayed and pushed back. And those ships weren't going back and getting more products to bring back, which then caused things to pile up. So there's huge piles of stuff everywhere. It's starting to come out. It's getting there, but it's really slowed everything down production-wise. Let's see. Are you a surf or a turf person? Occasionally turf, but I'm almost always surf. I really love lobster. I would love to go to an all-you-can-eat lobster place. Well, I have been to an all-you-can-eat lobster place, but that's the best. Lobster, shrimp, scallops, crab. I'm a shellfish guy more than anything else. Fish is good, but I love shellfish. So, except raw oysters. Who does that? It's like snot. Let's see here. Do you think Dead of Winter replaces Shadows over Camelot? Not at all. Because Shadows over Camelot's so easy to play with a group of people, almost as a gateway style game. And I would never do that with Dead of Winter. Do you think mathematics mastery is mandatory when designing a board game? I do not. I think it's very useful for the developer. But as long as the main idea for designing the board game is there, you don't need to know math inside and out. The publisher needs to have someone who does know math to go over the game, but the designer does not need to. Do you really need the expansions for Star Realms? You do not. They're fun. Do you prefer the base game? No, I liked it with the expansions. Let's see here. I will recommend to some people here who say, have you ever played such and such a game? The new Dice Tower website is up now. You can go there, type in a game, and see if I've done a review of that game, and then you'll know exactly what I think of it. Very excited about the new website. Or if you say, which of these two games do you like better? Again, you can see where they are on my top 100 list and see which one I like better. What's my favorite suburbia tile? The fancy restaurant. I was surprised how many games were at Gamma. How can all these people make a living? Well, there's not as many people maybe making a living at a board game as you might think, or if they are, they're eking out a living. Many people do it as their secondary job. Many publishers are very small publishers, and so it's not as exciting as you might think. But at the same time, there is money in the industry, and you can have a full-time job in games. But, I mean, if you're going to say, well, I'm going to quit my job tomorrow and get in games, be prepared to work very long hours for not that much money. That's how it works. Let's see here. Is there a game that you've been playing at least once every week this year? Well, that's crazy. No. I don't have time to play that one game every week. Oh, that would be... If there was one, it would be Dice Masters, but I no. Let's see here. Your website no longer has written reviews. How am I to know what you think of Nexus Ops? Well, I like it a lot. The written reviews will be transferred over to the new site at some point. So, they're coming. They'll be back. And they're definitely at Board Game Geek. They're all at Board Game Geek, so you can see them there. Getting any and all information about Seafall and or Pandemic Legacy, although I did learn a little bit more about that at Gamma, but I'm trying not to. I want to, when I get these boxes and open them, to be completely amazed at what's inside them, to be completely blown away. Spoilers for a game per se, so I want to know as little as possible. Let's see here. Wow, there's so many questions, guys. Wow. There's only 240. I think some of you guys need to calm down and are asking like question. And that's fantastic. I don't mind that. But it would be nice maybe if you let the other people answer some questions too. Now I just need to be able to find where the there we go. Okay. Have you ever thought on revisiting your top 10 videos and redoing them with updated games? Okay, I answered this last time, but I'll answer it again because the people keep asking that. The top 10 lists have been out for like less than 2 years at this point in time. Now, the audio ones have been out for a long time, but the videos haven't been out that long. So give us some time to like let them germinate for a while. Then we'll redo them with new games. We will, but I'm probably going to put a 5-year buffer in there. Maybe a 4-year buffer. But highly doubtful it will be much shorter than that because it doesn't need to be put out that often. That Steve Jackson Gamma video was cringeworthy. I don't know. I was a little surprised at that. Let me explain some things. The gentleman in the Steve Jackson video is a super nice guy, and he's really funny. The presentation he did at Gamma for Steve Jackson was really well received. He made some jokes in that video, and he kept making the same joke over and over again, and it came out like he was being a jerk, but Z said he didn't really care. It wasn't that big of a deal to him, so I wouldn't worry so much about it. Let's see here. Why is Rodney Smith a jerk? Rodney Smith is a jerk because he destroyed my forces in Forgotten Stars, which is actually just me joking around because Rodney Smith is one of the nicest people in existence. But I love playing games with him because we both get into it. And when we played for Forbidden Stars, we had we had 2 back-to-back stand-up battles, right? Where we stood up, rolling dice, and who wins each one of them, and we're fighting. And at the end, it didn't matter who won each one. We shook hands because it was such a great battle. That is the best kind of opponent. One who really gets into it, trash talks the whole way, but as soon as it's over, doesn't care who won or lost. I mean, you care like, oh, yeah, I won, or oh, I lost, but it doesn't go any farther than that. Love that. Rodney Smith is a great guy. Let's see here. What player count do you most enjoy in Cosmic Encounter? 6, I think. Although 5 is pretty good too. 5 or 6 are my 2 favorite. 7 is my 3rd, then 4. Then that's it. I don't want to play with 3, and 8 is too many. Let's see. What laptop do you have? It's a Mac. That's apparently has a blue-orange sticker on it. Let's see here. If Gen Con ends up moving, what do you think would be a good location for it? That is a question for sure, right? I don't think, well, first of all, they're not moving to 2020. This is 2015. That means we have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 6 Gen Cons. So that's so far in the future. I have no idea. I'm sure they'll talk about it at some point. But to me, it's like a non-issue right now. They're not going to move for a long time. Why is there not a Board Game Breakfast 58? No, there is a Board Game Breakfast 58. But what happened was... No, I can't even come up with a good reason right now. It's probably just not on the playlist for some whatever reason. Let's see here. I'm no longer playing Android Netrunner. And I talked about that before, and it's mostly because of the people involved in Android Netrunner are so good at the game that I don't get any enjoyment out of playing against them because they know everything and I want to play casually. And Android Netrunner is like a game that you simply cannot play casually. Do you feel like opening a game store is a dead dream to most people willing to risk it? Yes. If you came to me and said, I want to open a game store, I'd be like, are you sure? You're going to lose money. You're definitely going to lose time. See, I would not want to own a game store myself because it would mean I'd have to work on Sundays and I go to church on Sundays, and that is cross purposes to me. But you need to be there all the time at the beginning. You got to be there from when it opens to when it closes, and you're going to make hardly any money. And your customers, you have to deal with the customers on a daily basis, and you have to like treat them really well, but at the same time not allow one of them to chase away other ones. And you got to keep the store clean. And there's so many things. I think it's a great thing when done right. I think most people who want to do it are more like, ooh, I have the dream. This is what I want to do. And they're thinking about the game part, not about the business part, right? And the business part is what you need to get in there, not the game part. By the way, I do appreciate everyone's comments about the gamma coverage, but I'd like to give a lot of credit to Mark Streed, who helped me just facilitate that and get everything done, and Eric and Z, who did a majority of the coverage for that. They did an excellent job, and I applaud all three of them and thank them all for what they did. Let's see here. Am I doing a live feed on Tabletop Day? I don't think I am. We talked about it. I might, but I don't know yet. Andy says he's enjoying the direction Dice Tower is going. He likes the Instagram. How do you feel the website will draw in a synergy to the network? I think the website will grow the Dice Tower. The website now for Dice Tower is a website I think people will go to look up information on games, as opposed to before where you went to look up information on the Dice Tower. Here, I say, ooh, there's a new game. Has Dice Tower done a review of it? Bam. Ooh, they have done a review of it. Ooh, it even made a top 10 list. What top 10 list did it make? And I think stuff like that will be very interesting. How would you feel about opening a Dice Tower cafe? Well, I'd have to find someone to run it for me for all the reasons I listed before. Do you watch Tabletop Deathmatch? Is that the Magic the Gathering one? Because I have watched the Magic the Gathering one. I don't watch it all the time, but I've watched a few episodes of it. I really liked it. I actually thought that was a better show than Tabletop. And I think part of that is because I think the host comes off a little bit better. He comes off like he's enjoying the games more. I gotta be really careful with it because I do not wish to criticize Tabletop at all. But Tabletop has a lot of guests on who it's obviously their first time playing a game. And that's fine. It's great to get people into the hobby. But many times these people are very unsure on how to play a game. They're not. They either fake trash talk or they're just not very good at it. You know, because you can tell kind of like they're not into the game. And Will Wheaton is a good host usually, but sometimes can come off a little off maybe to some people on the show or even to me. And there are many shows I'm just not that interested in because just the way everyone's acting in the shows. And I think the Magic show did a much better job where I was excited about the game and just getting involved, and you felt like they were having a whole lot of fun. And I'm not always convinced on Tabletop that they're having a whole lot of fun. Sometimes, yes, but it's kind of hit and miss. I say all that with the caveat that I think Tabletop is a fine show, usually. Let's see. Has Star Trek Attack Wing replaced Starfleet Battles? No. They're two different games. I think you mean Starfleet Battles. Maybe, but I don't know. Will the live shows at Essen and Origins be video or podcast? Yes. Any recommendations on someone starting a board game podcast? Yeah, go for it. But I highly recommend this. First of all, if you're going to start a board game podcast, you got to realize that it's a really crowded field right now. There's at least 50 active podcasts out there. Probably a few more than that, but there's at least 50 active podcasts out there. What are you going to do differently than them? They're all sitting around talking about the same subject as you. What are you going to do that's different than them? How are you going to get people to listen to your show over theirs? And then, once you have decided that and determined that, then go for it, but then be consistent. Go, keep doing it. But unless you hate doing it, then stop. Stop. You don't need to do it. Hey, God. Excuse me. My apologies. Do I like steak and rice and noodles? Yes. All right. When my son is old enough, which game first? Memoir 44 or Risk Legacy? Probably Memoir 44. I know Sam and Z are teachers, but are you too? Well, Sam and Z is actually... Okay, well, it's going up tomorrow, right? Okay, so here's the deal. Z is not a teacher at this point in time, so he's working for the Dice Tower. As of, I guess this is sort of an announcement here, as of June 2015, Sam will also be coming on board the Dice Tower. We announced that in episode 400, which is landing tomorrow morning, so this is close enough for that. So there will be 2 people working with me at the Dice Tower now, Z and Sam, and that's not including 2 other folks who help me out on a more part-time level, which is Eric Summer for the audio podcast and Robert Searing with the website. So Dice Tower is continuing to grow. It'll be interesting to see how it goes in the future. But I was a teacher. I still do teach at my church. I just don't teach at a school any longer. But I taught high school math. Let's see here. What board game do you feel captures the pen and paper role-playing spirit the best? That's kind of a tough one. I want to say maybe Descent, but Descent's mostly about kicking the door in. I don't feel like a board game can capture that feel as well. Descent kind of captures the whole kill all the monsters. If you like that, then you'll like Descent. And there's other board games that I've worked on that. If I had to pick one, I'd say Battle Stations. Although Battle Station is really close to being an RPG itself. And that's a game where you're like, it's from Guerrilla Games where you fly around in a spaceship and all sorts of hijinks happen, and you have a map and you can have spaceship battles, but you can also have a spaceship battle on the ship itself, and you go up in levels, and it's a pretty cool game. So Battle Stations, I guess, would be the one. Why did you start YouTube? I did not. Had I started YouTube, I'd be sitting here on a pile of money. But what I think you mean is, why did I start doing YouTube videos? It's because I saw Scott Nicholson doing it, and I thought, well, he's being silly and making a fool of himself on the videos, and lots of people are enjoying that. I could be even more foolish. And so I just decided I would start doing it. I got a Mac, and it was really easy to put up videos with the Mac, and I started doing it, and I found that I enjoyed doing that so much more than writing. Let's see here. Wow. When will Z get a gangster card? Nothing personal. He'll be getting one in the expansion. So will Jason Levine and many of the other Dice Tower contributors who've been across will be in that one. Let's see here. Do you think you will stop gaming ever? Well, probably. Alright, wow guys, I'm really far behind in questions. But I will attempt. I have 16 minutes. How many can I do? Here we go. Ready? Alright. Was Stronghold Games at Gamma? They were not. Bonagor, it was taking a vacation at the time, so it couldn't make it to Gamma. And in fact, if you didn't see a video from us, they probably weren't at Gamma. There was a few companies at Gamma that we weren't able to come across for various reasons. We weren't able to get an interview with Mayfair or Game Salute or Paizo, I think. But we got, and a bunch of small companies, but we got pretty much anybody of any importance who was there other than those. Let's see here. I'm going through. What's your favorite movie? The Lord of the Rings trilogy. If you could play any game, which game would you choose? Well, Cosmic Encounter. Let's see here. This one says, my wife and I are a couple filthy casuals. I don't know what that means. But we like Caverna and Catan. We bought tickets ride based on your rave reviews, but we're slightly bored. Wow. Well, if you're slightly bored playing Ticket to Ride, then I would go up to something higher than that. Try Airlines Europe. That's a very interesting game. Or, what's the name of that game? I'm going to forget it. Where is it? It's on my shelves. You know, just so you know that when you're looking at these games that are here, there's not many games that are outside your view. There's a few over there, but not too many. So this is pretty much my whole collection. And I'm looking for a specific game, and I can't remember the name of that game. It's in a square box, but it's thinner than normal, so I might have stuck it over there. But I didn't. Maybe it's down there and I can't see it. Well, this is very fascinating TV and is not helping me get through. So, why can't that name of that game has eluded me? It's an airplane game from Watsapog. Anyhow, all right. So, let's see here. Blah blah blah. Shady Maple breakfast or lunch or dinner? Lunch, because you can work it off. But dinner's the best, obviously. Are you surprised you have so many subscribers? Sometimes I am. It's very exciting because this week, or not this week, but in the next month or two, I think we'll break 100,000 subscribers. And in a couple months, probably at the same time, let's say 2.5 months, we'll break 100,000 subscribers and we'll break 50 million views, which is pretty cool. So we're very excited about that. And this week, we didn't almost, but we came as close to 100,000 views in one day as we've come before. We had 92,000, which is the record for us, which was very exciting. Usually we have around 60,000 views a day, or maybe 50,000, between 50 and 60,000. A 70,000 view day is like a phenomenal day. 92 just blew our minds. My goal was at some point to get to 2 million views a month, and well, we'll just keep building from there. We just hopefully that there'll be quality views. That's more important than number anyway. Okay. Do you think there are too many board game YouTube channels? Well, I don't think so. I don't think there's not that many actually. You know, I remember earlier I said that there was like 50 podcasts out there. There's probably even more YouTube channels, but YouTube channels that people really pay attention to, there's probably less than 20 of those. And so we could use maybe more good quality channels. But that's not my job, is to grow all the channels. My job is to make the Dice Tower channel. I want to make it the premier YouTube channel. That's right. I want you to go to there before you check out Board Game Geek's YouTube channel, before you check out Will Wheaton's YouTube channel, before you check out Rada's, before you check out the Shut Up and Sit Downs. Although their stuff is all quite fine and good, but I want to make ours the best. Now, you can sit there and argue that it's not the best. In fact, many people tell me consistently that that is certainly the truth, and that's fine. But I want to strive to be the best and make our channel the best, and that's my goal. Let's see here. How good is Forbidden Worlds? Is it a must-buy? I'll be doing a preview of that this week, so watch that preview and I'll tell you on that. Did some of the older contributor videos not get included in the new website? Yes. Some things haven't moved over from the old website to the new website because of time and space. Others haven't moved over because some former contributors may not wish their stuff on the website anymore. So there's that. If you're really curious about that, then just email me privately and I can tell you more specifically. Let's see here. Let's see here. Gen Con is not going to move due to the law in Indiana. They said that they would think about it, and then they said, well, we're not really going to move till 2020. So maybe they will, but I think it was more posturing on their part. I don't think it was idle posturing, but I don't think at the same time that they were really going to move Gen Con. Certainly not going to move it this year. That would have, I think, destroyed the convention or certainly decimated it. But I think that maybe they will move in the future. That's certainly a possibility. But we'll have to wait and see because everything changes from year to year. Things that we can get very upset about in 1 year, people can forget them quite easily a year later than that. And things can also change dramatically from year to year. And that is the closest you will see me coming to that political minefield at this point in time. I don't wish to discuss that per se, except I will say that I don't think it's going to actually affect Gen Con moving or not. I think Gen Con is going to want to move anyway eventually because they're getting too big for Indianapolis. Let's see here. Are you guys going to Essen this year? We will be there. Some of you are asking the same questions you asked last week. Let's see here. Who updates the Instagram? I think right now it's mostly, I think we all have access to it, but mostly Z or me updates it. Instagram is you'll have to forgive us. This is the one thing the Dice Tower has been lacking on. I know it has been, and that's the whole the social media thing, right? Because we get so caught up creating content that sometimes we forget to post pictures and things like that. And so I don't tweet as much as I should, and I don't Instagram as much as I could, because it still feels somewhat unnatural to me, and because you can get caught up in it rather than actually creating content. But here, I'll post an Instagram picture of me recording this. So here we are. There's the camera. There's me. There we go. And then I'll say next, and then I'll say recording. Also, I hate typing on a thing. Recording Dice Tower Live. Q and A. There you go. I've just Instagrammed this. That's meta, right? Anyhow, but yeah, we should probably get more of that up there. Okay, guys. Let's see here. And again, don't be upset if I miss your questions or don't answer your questions. I'm just trying to answer questions I think would be interesting to the most people. If I missed yours, you might ask them again another time. But if you keep asking the same question over and over and over again, I probably will never answer it, because it's like a little kid going, "Daddy, daddy, 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 daddy." But who knows? Okay. Let's see here. Would you do a live play of Fortress America? Maybe, but it's a very long game, so I don't know. Do you ever see Imperial Assault eventually replacing Descent? No, I don't. Maybe for some people, but there are times I want to play fantasy, and there are times I want to play Star Wars. I don't want to play Star Wars all the time, as much as I like Star Wars. Oh, that tabletop deathmatch. Okay, so thank you. I was talking about the Magic the Gathering show from Tabletop. No, Tabletop Deathmatch is a different game. It was a different thing. It was run by the... Thank you for reminding me. Downriver Gaming. Tabletop Deathmatch is a show, and I think they did it 2 years in a row, but I couldn't find any videos from 2014. But in 2013, you can still find the videos. They basically did a reality show where these games came in and different people were there. Although they didn't really pull a lot of people from the board gaming world. They had Paul Peterson, and I think they had Mike Slinker, and they might have had James Ernest, but really they didn't pull in many other big people. Most of the people involved, I think, were part of the Cards Against Humanity people, so I did not know who they were. And now my computer's about to run out of power. I didn't plug anything in today. So anyhow, they were doing this show, and then they would eliminate games. The people came, they had a bunch of submissions, they took the submissions and they came through. And then one game won, and it was like a guaranteed publication. Unfortunately, the game that won, Discount Salmon, I think was a pretty not so good game. So I'm not so sure about the process. Although I haven't played all the games from it. I think the Amsterdam Affair was one of them, and Penny Press, I should be getting that one soon. So we'll see if that one's any good or not. I mean, who knows? And again, everyone has different opinions and stuff, but I was really surprised that Discount Salmon won. Just, all right, well, whatever. But it was an interesting thing to watch, and you might want to watch that too. Let's see here. Well, okay. Hamtag has produced many videos at this point. Will the new Dice Tower site include a war game section and ratings? I don't understand that question, because I don't know why war games would get their own section as opposed to train games, as opposed to deck building games, as opposed to miniature games, as opposed to fantasy games. Why would they get their own section? That's always mind-boggled me why war gamers want to be like their own club. I don't get that. I don't understand that. And I will not tolerate that at the Dice Tower. They can make their own videos, I guess, as Handtag does. But no, war games are games just like every other game. They're not any better. They're not any worse. Well, sometimes they're worse. All right. Let's see here. Well, I jumped down to the bottom, so I'm just going to do some of the stuff at the bottom here. Oh yeah, okay. So here's a question that some people have been asking me through email. You're going to have to re-register on the new website. I apologize about that, but to vote on the top 10s and things, you're going to need to re-register. That's just the way it is. So hopefully that will work better for you. Okay. Let's see. Some people are asking questions I've already answered. Yeah. Let's see here. Who made your top 10 list theme tune? Do you mean the one that has like the clapping of the hands and the happy one? That's another royalty-free one, but I really like it a lot. What's my favorite type of sushi? Well, usually I would have said dragon roll, but yesterday my wife and I were at a Thai restaurant and we had some sushi there from Bangkok something or other, and it was by far the best sushi I've ever had. I was really impressed. Except maybe once upon a time I had peanut butter sushi, which was really good. Let's see here. Did you ever get all the Pandemic expansions into one box? I've got all the ones into one box except for the brand newest expansion, which I don't have. Z has it, so I have not tried to fit them all into one box. But they barely fit into one box, and it angers me that they won't make... It doesn't anger me, but it slightly annoys me that they don't make a nice, cool Pandemic box that holds all the expansions. You keep talking about Welcome to the Dungeon. Is your review coming for it soon? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. My review for that will be coming this week. I would like to say Wednesday. That'll be one of the first ones I review. I like it very much so. Jet Set. That's the game I was talking about earlier. Thank you to Rebecca. Jet Set from What's Apply Games. That is a more advanced version, kind of a ticket ride, sort of. I think it's a very good game. I don't know why I can't find it on my shelves, but I know it's here. Do I give the other reviewers suggestions or guidance about what they review? Not necessarily. They often ask me, and I say review what you want to. Now, sometimes I'll say, hey, don't review this week because I'm about to review it, and we don't have too many reviews going up with the same game. Or I might say, hey, I think you should review this game, but I never tell anyone what to do because none of them except Z works for me. And so, yes, I tell Z a little bit about what to review, but that's about it. The rest of them are mostly volunteering. Why don't you put your streams on Twitch? Mostly because I like having everything in one place if possible, and so I like to keep everything on YouTube. I like using YouTube and having all my videos in one place, and Twitch is really annoying for me when it comes to advertisements and just how the web page works. Whenever I watch someone else's thing on Twitch, I always find myself feeling a little bit annoyed. What do you find the most difficult in your videos? Most definitely the editing. The editing is mind and time consuming. It is a lot of work to do the editing, and I'm really thankful that Z has come on and helped me with that one. Let's see here. What do you think of the Hunger Games series? It seems okay, but I've only read the first book, and I've only watched the first 2 movies. I haven't even watched the one that just came out at Christmas time. I probably will watch that one soon. So... okay, looks like I'm almost caught up in questions. I know someone out there's thinking, but you didn't watch my question. Yeah, well, that's it. So, Forbidden Stars, like I said already, I'll be doing a preview of that this week. It's basically just going to be me talking about the game for a while, showing a few pictures of it that I have from the Gamma Trade Show, because it's not coming out till summer. It might be at Gen Con. I would say betting that it's at Gen Con is a pretty good bet, but I don't know. But I would imagine that they'll have it there. And I look forward to doing the full review of it then. But I'll tell you, it really got me pumped. It really got my blood going. I really enjoyed playing it very much so. Let's see here. I have time for 2 more questions. Let's see here. Let's find a good question to answer. Enough of the food questions. No, food's important. We must talk about it. Yeah, no one has made my grocery shopping game yet. I don't know why. I just played a game about food that I'll be reviewing in a week or two. And again, I was disappointed it was not a good game. I love games about food. It's one of my favorite themes. Okay. Well, how will Dice Tower Essentials handle promos for their games? Will they be available anywhere else besides the con? I keep saying that you can get the promos from the Dice Tower website from me, but I think you meant the ones that they actually handed out at the convention. You'll probably be able to get those in other places at some point, I would imagine, or you'll see them show up in a future expansion for Share for Nottingham, if there ever is an expansion for Share for Nottingham. Okay, so that's what I would guess. That's what I would think. I don't know. I don't know much about the line. All right. So that, I think, is where we will shut it down there before we have any more food questions that drive the food question hater crazy. But I am excited this week. I have a lot of games to talk about. Here, you guys have been asking for some quick things, so let me give you some quick things. All right. Wait. I need to make sure I'm doing the right ones. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so here we go. All Queen's Chess. Interesting, but probably too late for most people. But kids, enjoyable. Garbage. A very nice reprint of a game I really, really enjoy. Hey, I was just talking about What's a Play, and this is another game that would be a good... this is a pretty cool train game. Really enjoy this one, folks. Really enjoy it. Might replace X-Wing for me, even though they're not anything alike. Wow. Don't be fooled by the boring-looking cover here. Excellent game. It's okay. Causes more arguments than it should. Some good ideas, and I think it will work well in some groups. What a dumb name, but a cool version of Love Letter. Yes, a great filler. That's what you guys have looking forward to this week from me. That's not counting Z and the other reviewers. You'll see some of their stuff going up tomorrow. Guys, thanks so much for asking questions. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. I will see you then.